Joined in the studio by Gabriel McSharry, medical herbalist and nutritionist. And if you have questions for Gabriel today, you can text them in to us to 083 3500 530. And our number for your questions also is, you can phone 071 911 8100 this morning. That's 071 911 8100. Daughter 40 diagnosed with low blood pressure, no medication given. What can she do, or what is low blood pressure as opposed to high blood pressure?
Yeah, well, I guess it's the opposite in that normal is around 120 over 80, and low, I think it's probably something like 100 over 70 or 60, something below that. So I guess less prevalent in today's society than high blood pressure, but it's still a concern in that she could be more prone to kind of losing energy and maybe fainting and stuff like that. Nutritional guidelines here, there's certain foods that can we'll say speed up the body in general, work on thyroid function and so on, and they could be beneficial. There's vascular tonics and the circulatory stimulants and so on. And well, one to mention is salt. Again, I mentioned it before. Salt is something that's been vilified for years now as something that's going to give us all heart disease. However, when you scratch the surface on that, it's a little bit more complex. Table salt is a poor product. It's predominantly sodium chloride, and it's bleached white and add anti-caking agent and so on. It's a poor product in my opinion. However, unrefined sea salt has 82 minerals and trace elements, and it's beneficial, if not vital, for health in my opinion. And some of these minerals and trace elements, it's impossible to get elsewhere in the diet. And there's certain constituents actually, I know there's one like strontium, they make a pharmaceutical drug out of it, lithium, they make a pharmaceutical drug out of it, and where they're found in nature is unrefined sea salt. And it's something years ago, they used to pay their wages in it, and hence the term salary. And we used to fight wars over it. It was very important for the health of animals and humans. But anyway, all that aside, I'd encourage her to increase her usage of unrefined sea salt. And there's one called Selmarin, the Atlantic, marine salt of the Atlantic, I guess in French, and you get it in a health food store. It's only €3 for a big bag of it, but that's a good salt to use and throw out your table salt, or use it to melt the frost this morning.
Exactly.
But yeah, so there's certain spices as well that are circulatory stimulants that could be good for her to add to her diet. Cayenne or capsicum is one we use in herbal medicine. It's very heating and it's a stimulant, and it's something that can be beneficial. And there's a number of other herbal medicines that are circulatory stimulants and could be beneficial here. Hawthorn, berry, leaf and flower, Leonoris, cardiaca. Some of the ginsengs can be beneficial. Panax ginseng or Korean ginseng. It's something that can modulate blood pressure. If it's low, it can bring it up. And I suppose there's other kind of lifestyle modifications that could be beneficial as well. As always, exercise is really important.
And there's someone saying they take vitamin B. They've low blood pressure and take vitamin B.
Yeah, well, all vitamins are vitally important, and you can single them down. Like there's maybe 12 B vitamins, and you can break them down into what each individual one is beneficial for. But in general, you should be getting adequate amounts of all the B vitamins, and where you get them is some of the best sources are your meats and your green leafy vegetables. Vegetables and meats, really. Some of the nuts and that for minerals as well. But for B vitamins, I think, a bit of lamb's liver or some good quality butcher meats. And some vegetables, with some of them raw, some of the green leafy ones raw. And that's good to cover the B vitamins. But if one wants to take a supplement, they're all broken down into various ones.
Okay. Now, what foods are best to eat if you have bad reflux and hiatus hernia?
Yeah, okay. There's certain ones that there's a valve between the esophagus and the stomach, and this can, this only lets things down and shouldn't let things back up. So the environment in the stomach, it has a pH of maybe 2, and this is highly acidic, and some of the contents there, if they got other places in the body, they'd burn right through. But it's just the lining of the stomach is designed to withstand that pH. But in other parts of the body, it can be highly corrosive. So we have these valves and sphincters, and this valve blocks the acidic juices to come back up, or reflux up into the esophagus. Now, if they burn the area or irritate the area, and if it's a chronic thing, if it's gone on for a long period of time, it can damage the lining, causing scarring. And after many years, it can lead on to predispose one to certain sort of cancers and that. So, what in the diet affects that valve or that sphincter is, and there's some research on this, caffeinated beverages, so coffee and black teas, in some individuals, and in some it doesn't. So this is to susceptible individuals. Chocolate, citrus, so orange, lemons, limes, citrus fruits or beverages. Alcohol, and there's maybe one other I just can't think now. But so this person would want to watch their intake of them. It could be causing that valve to dysfunction, in that to go kind of lazy or placid, so the acid can reflux. Now, on top of that, a few general things that's very important in gastroesophageal reflux disorder, or GERD, is hydration. Make sure you're hydrated, and again, a couple of pints of water a day should be minimum. But in general, it's different for everyone, and you can use the colour of your urine as an indicator. It should be either white or a little bit off yellow, light yellow, but it shouldn't be dark yellow. If it is, you need more water. And water is water, and it's not tea or juice. And the reason I say that is, you could ask someone how much water they drink, and they tell you, well, I drink 8 cups of tea a day.
So that's
but it's not water.
It's not water.
Water is water, and so you should make sure you're well hydrated, because a low level state of dehydration can also create this kind of reflux disorder or dyspepsia. And then there's allergies. There's certain things, if someone's, for instance, allergic to the wheat protein, gluten, it can cause a lot of digestive ailments, upper and lower, and definitely reflux is something it can cause. And gluten sensitivity or celiac is very common in the northwest of Ireland, and so it's something that also is worth noting. So that's dietary things. Again, there's certain spices and all processed foods are going to affect this area. If one has an overgrowth of Helicobacter pylori, then certain fermented beverages will definitely make this worse. And fermented things being alcohol, vinegar, so and there's other kind of pickles and other kind of fermented type things that could exacerbate this. On a herbal medicine front, there's a herb meadowsweet. It's excellent as a tea, but also as a tincture. That's really good for GERD and or this reflux disorder. A number of other herbs that are antagonistic and can kill Helicobacter pylori, which could be a problem here as well. And there's a few other specifics in diet, but in general, cut out the processed foods and stuff for definite.
So all fresh foods if you can. Thanks, Gabriel. This listener says this caller has reflux all their life. Now you have me worried about cancer. I don't really know why.
Well, again, as I say, it's something that if you've had it bad all your life, like long on, it may be worth getting it checked, as in an endoscopy, so a scope, which is an outpatient's procedure. It's not a big thing, but just to see the lining, because this is only if there's acid being refluxed from the stomach area up into the esophagus, and this, which is generally an alkaline environment, but it can burn and irritate the skin, as if you poured a bit of battery acid on your hand, maybe a small bit over many years, maybe as a mechanic or whatever. You can damage the skin and cause scarring, and it can just create the environment long term, they've found in studies, for the onset of cancers. But I don't want to freak you out or anything, but I'm just saying that's the facts, on it. And I mean, if you're really worried about it, or if it's something that's been bad, I mean, if you've been diagnosed with a hernia, did they mention that in the text?
Yeah, they said they have a hernia.
Well, they've had an endoscopy, and therefore
that's what
tissue hasn't been seen that's being suspect, so don't worry about it.
Yeah, exactly. All right, keep your questions coming in to us. 083 3500 530 is our text, and you can call us at 071 911 8100. Rejoin us just after the short break.
Ocean FM. Northwest Today with Rogers Topline Ballymote. New name, but still the same value close to home. Rogers Topline, the builders, hardware merchant leader in the Northwest. 071 918 3318. RogersTopline.ie. Ocean FM.
This week at Tesco, save up to half price on wines from Spain and New Zealand. And at $6.49, it's better than half price on tins of Celebrations, Roses and Quality Street. Just $6.49? That's right up my street. See a store for details and enjoy alcohol responsibly. Tesco, every little helps.
McGee of Donegal, Donegal Town. New men's and women's autumn-winter collections now in store with 20% off this Friday. Visit our concession stands now in store. Kira, Quiz, Shurak, Jack Ver, Planet and Gardur. 20% off this Friday at McGee of Donegal. Donegal Town. New men and women's autumn-winter collections now in store. Some exclusions apply, but not many.
The Debenhams half-price sale, with huge savings across the store. Now on.
Thursday, September 30th. The place, Archers Bunbury Road, Ballina. The time, 10 a.m. That's when the doors open to Archers' massive 3-day sale, starting with a 10 a.m. special. 40-inch widescreen TV, €499. Save €450. Stanley Urn Stove, €1,299. Save €200. 10-litre Crown Matte Paint, €4.95. Save €10. Archers Bunbury Road, Ballina have gone mad. Limited quantity, be early.
Brilliant idea to get the girls round. It's great to chill out and stay in for a change.
Yeah, no makeup, no man, and night in with the girls. Lots of gossip and a great movie.
Oh, it's no hassle. I just picked up lots of goodies in Centra on my way home.
Saved us a fortune, and now we can donate the money we saved to a good cause.
Get the girls round this October. Have a laugh and raise money for Action Breast Cancer. Kindly supported by Centra. Visit Get the Girls Round on Facebook or centra.ie.
We've been thinking about the new Mini Countryman and all the fun you can have with it, particularly as the Countryman is the first Mini ever with 4 doors. You could play Who Can Open and Shut All 4 Doors the Fastest, or Stand by the Doors. Then there's Last One to Touch All 4 Doors Shuts Them. And who could forget the classic, Name Those Doors. Yeah, on second thoughts, maybe we'll leave the fun bit to you. The new 4-door Mini Countryman. See it for yourself at mini.ie.
Homes Insulation, attic and wall insulation specialists. Keenest prices, IAB approved. SEI registered. Homes Insulation. Call Kieran on 087 8343 755. Government grants now available.
To have your say, call the Northwest Today comment line on 0818 365 500. Text your comment to 083 3500 530.
And you're very welcome back to the programme. We are in the company of Gabriel McSharry, a medical herbalist and a nutritionist. And keep your questions coming in to us, 083 3500 530. Or you can call us with your question to 071 911 8100. That's 071 911 8100. Now, this listener says that they're a man in their 40s having erectile problems, have tried Viagra and other such products, but they haven't worked. Doctor's advice has not helped. He's diabetic. What can you do to help?
Bingo with the diabetic there at the end. It's why Viagra won't work if there's we say poor integrity of the veins leading to the penis, and so an erection is formed by the blood flow to the organ, and if it can't flow there, it won't work. And if there's leakage in the veins or any kind of poor venous integrity, which also indicates a high cardiovascular risk, so it's the whole vascular system that leads from the heart around the body, and in that case, as far as I'm aware, nitric oxide or NO, which Viagra works on, doesn't work. So to go on with people who have diabetes, they're more predisposed to peripheral neuropathy, which is numbness or loss of function in the periphery, so fingers and toes. And that's due to the microvascular, sort of small veins and arteries that we have in our periphery tend to block up and close down in diabetics. And they're the same in the back of the eyes and in certain areas of the body. And this is why diabetics are predisposed to having problems with their sight down the track as part of the prognosis of diabetes. So that's what I'd say this is part of it, and it can indicate vascular disease, like hemorrhoids or varicose veins is a vascular disease, the herniation of the veins, and the veins because they're herniated, they're not working correctly. So not too sure where the fix is here, but it'd be definitely to make sure the diabetes is controlled and make sure cardiovascular system is looked after. And again, for diabetes, specifically type 2 or non-insulin dependent, diet, nutrition and herbal medicines can be very powerful. And again, you have to synthesize your body and your cells to insulin. And there's certain herbal medicines that can increase insulin sensitivity. And in fact, one of the most common used pharmaceuticals, metformin, or might be called glucophage as well. It's derived from a herb that I use in a dispensary. It's a biguanide, and it increases insulin sensitivity, so it's really good for anyone with type 2 diabetes. But also, I couldn't emphasize more how diet and nutrition is important in diabetes. It's key, really, So for someone with diabetes and who has also vascular problems, I'd see a nutritionist and get a full insight into it, or someone, a medical herbalist as well. And because again, there's herbs that are really good for the vascular system, and the heart, and all this is important for this man.
Okay. Would Gabriel know what would cause my face to numb on one side of my mouth in the morning when I awake, and what would you recommend?
That's interesting. So, if it only numbs in the morning when you wake, and it's normal thereafter, I think it's possibly it could possibly be due to a nerve being pinched in your neck. That only happens when you go to bed and you sleep on your pillow. And some of the nerve endings that feed the face may be affected. So I'd maybe look at, do you have any neck injury or spinal injury or anything like that from the past, and maybe get some physical therapy done on that, or get a good balm rubbed in there. That'd be kind of anti-inflammatory, and that's I guess what it could be. Apart from that, possibly maybe see your dentist and make sure that there's no kind of periodontal disease, and that could be affecting the nerves in the face when you lie down on your pillow for the night and so on.
Okay. A lady has osteoporosis, was prescribed stromium ranelate or Protolos, is it?
Yeah, I can't see.
What's his views on this?
I'd say it's strontium ranelate
and Protolos.
Well, Protolos is its medication name. Now, this is one of the things that I mentioned that's in unrefined sea salt, but that's where we used to get it naturally, I guess. And it's very hard, if not impossible, to get it anywhere else in the diet. So they actually make a prescription pharmaceutical drug out of it. Now, it's not a prescription in the States. In the States, you can go into your vitamin shop and just buy strontium. And I think it's quite important for anyone with osteopenia, osteoporosis. It's a natural element and can aid the whole building of bone. So it is important, and as I say, the natural source of it is unrefined sea salt. However, I think it's possibly because it's on the prescription here, it shouldn't be taken with anyone with any kind of renal problem, renal insufficiency or kidney problems. So that's probably why it's on prescription here. But it is beneficial. Again, along with diet, nutrition, and herbal medicines and lifestyle. Like, so again, if you're osteoporotic, weight bearing exercise is important. You know, if you don't use it, you lose it. And so it's important to stay active as much as possible, and maybe do light weights, you know, and it's by using the muscles, send signals to the bones to build up, you know. So, but again, nutrition, very important, and so on.
Okay. What can I do or give to an 8-month-old baby with a reoccurring eye infection? I brought the baby to the doctor, had antibiotics, but it still keeps coming back.
Yeah, what's great here, I use is a calendula aqueous infusion. So it's kind of like a tea made from marigold or calendula herb, and you make the strong tea and then you run it through cheesecloth, so you make sure there's no small little particles in there, and you use it as an eye wash. And it's antibacterial, antimicrobial, and it's quite soft on the child. It doesn't sting the eyes, and that's something that you can use as a wash in the eyes. Make sure that if it's in one eye and you're washing both eyes, that don't use the same solution. You know, you could cross-contaminate and put it into the other eye. But in fact, a colleague, this is something I looked into over a year ago or so. I gave a talk to they were called the Irish Consultants of the Irish Association of Lactation Consultants, and they have a website, and they're a body of doctors, midwives and nurses who consult people in lactation, so breastfeeding, and they wanted a nutritional and herbal medicine speaker to talk at their conference in Galway last year. So I was honoured to do so. But when I was researching that, I rang some of my colleagues. I have a colleague in Waterford, and she has heaps of children, and she's a medical herbalist many years, so I thought she'd be a good one to ask for. Does she have her own kind of little remedy? And she actually if the baby is still being breastfed, squirt some of the milk into the eye.
Some of the breast milk into the eye, right? And
that will get rid of the infection. And she says it's quite powerful, you know.
Okay. Now, hi there. I have bones that crack in my neck. Why is this?
Yeah, I don't know. You know, so it could be. As far as I know, it's like, you know, the way you crack the knuckles in your hand. I don't think it's the bones.
It's so annoying listening to someone doing that.
As far as I know, I don't think it's the bones that crack. It's actually pockets of air between the cartilage and the bone. But it sounds like, I guess, bones crapping. It could be early stages of osteoarthritis. Maybe. I'm not too sure, really.
Okay. Gabriel, can you advise on anything to a 5-year-old for concentration, got omega-3 orange flavour but won't take the tablet form?
Right. Well, that was a good idea, actually, because fish oils are brilliant. Can he maybe eat the fish, fatty fish, mackerel, salmon, herring, sardines, and try and get the fish oil. Sometimes, you know, to make fish oil for kids, to put in like an orange essence or strawberry essence, which can put a nice taste to it. However, it can actually turn some of the kids off, you know. So if you get a good quality fish oil, one that's kind of not gone rancid in the capsule, and I think they make them in chews now as well. You can actually chew on it, but if not, get it in liquid form. So just the oil itself, and mix it in with a bit of juice or something like that. Mix it into the food, something that's high in taste, so you can disguise it a bit, and that could be a good way to get it in there. But also, like, eggs have levels of omega-3s, and like some butter and some sort of good quality meats. The fat and good quality meats can have omega-3s to a certain extent. In general, diet in general is important for concentration in kids. I mean, there's a massive upsurge in the last 20 years of conditions like ADD, ADHD, these type of attention deficit and hyperactivity disorders. And there's various reasons why, possibly, and there's research coming out all the time. Even read an article this week that there's a link between pesticides on veggies and fruits that a mum might eat in utero. Oh no, that's measured actually in pregnant women's urine. If high levels of pesticides there's a correlation then a few years down the track with kids that have poor attention and stuff. Now, again, there's many factors here, but this is another indication that maybe organic, or definitely wash your fruits and vegetables and that while pregnant and that. But high sugar diets aren't good for kids who have poor attention, and I'd also always look at the digestion. So any child I've ever seen with kind of, if a parent brought them and said, you know, his concentration isn't good or he's a little bit hyper or whatever, I'd always look at the digestion. Tends not to be good, either diarrhea, constipation, or foul smelling stools and stuff. And it'll always be an area of treatment. So instead of a herb that would say improves concentration, I'd use digestive tonics, and I take high sugar foods out of the diet. Get good proteins and fats in there, and this could be a bit of it could be a bit of a change for the child. It could crack up while you're kind of reducing the sugar stuff, but expect that and go through that and come out the other end probably better, you know.
Okay. All right, and a lady just texted in to say, hi, my baby had an eye infection. I was told make a cup of black tea in the morning, wash baby's eye out through the day. My baby's eye cleared up in about the second day. It's worth a try.
Oh, there you go, yeah.
That's only tea. Okay, Gabriel, for people who want to contact you, how do they do so?
They can ring 071 91 42 940.
Okay, Gabriel McSharry, medical herbalist and nutritionist. Thanks for joining us in studio. Of course, you're back after 11 next Wednesday morning.